So regarding co-productions and financing independent films, and even larger studio films are largely being financed by co-productions, incentives, subsidies. We call that soft money. Anytime you're going to get money from a government or a grant or a tax rebate, all these buzzwords that you may be hearing lately, that's called soft money. That's what we refer to it as, soft money. Unfortunately, for an American filmmaker who only has an American passport, they are at a disadvantage today. No matter how talented they are unfortunately at a disadvantage. That's something that bothers me. There's not a social endeavor or social efforts in America to invest and encourage the creativity in our entertainment industry, or to invest in new filmmakers and in new talent. That is because you think of the movie business kind of starting here largely, that the studios are here, that there's so much money here already. It would be difficult to get society wrapped around the idea, again, because of the perception. Why should we have to be giving money to these wealthy celebrities? And it's not that, of course. However, in other countries, specifically Canada, UK, Australia is a big one that supports the arts. They are investing in a very organized way to encourage and create new talent in their country. So they're investing an enormous amount of funds into this, which means if you are a new filmmaker, an existing filmmaker, a budding filmmaker, you have opportunity to apply for these funds, to write scripts, to shoot films, shorts, features, to promote them, to get talent. And if you stop to think for a moment, a lot of our new movie stars are Australian. If you look at the passports, not just the Hemsworths and the Edgertons, there are others. That's not a coincidence. It's because Australia has invested in their talent pool, and they have risen to a point where they are getting awareness, and then they come to LA to pop into the studio films. But the opportunities arose out of that organized mentality that we will invest in our talent pool. Same with Canada. There's a lot of Canadian movie stars because of this. So that takes us to co-productions. How do you make a film in Canada? How can I make a film in Australia? Well, you can and you can't. There's no co-production treaty with America. There's no official co-production treaty with America. The only soft money we have are some tax incentives in specific states and cities. It's something, and you see a lot of films being made in states like Ohio. We saw it happening in New Mexico. We saw it happening in Detroit. That's why. And that's certainly encouraged, and that certainly invested back into that local currency and that local talent pool and the workers in those cities and states. But that's it. There's no federal or state outside of that. There's no federal or state funding outside of that. So there are co-production treaties amongst countries like Canada, Australia, UK, Germany, other parts of Asia, other parts of Western Europe. France is another country that invests heavily in its own industry. Same as the UK, Ireland. There's money in Ireland you can tap into. And so what we are seeing some savvier American producers doing is partnering with producers from other countries, or partnering with talent from other countries. And you'd be surprised possibly that when we get lists of actors and directors in terms of who should we look at, who should we select, who should we hire, their nationality's next to it. And it's not because any of us are racist. It's because we want to know what country there might be financial help from. So if you're going to make a film in Canada, you need a Canadian director, you got to have a Canadian writer, and you have to have second highest paid as a Canadian actor, and you need a Canadian producer. So it's not uncommon if the original producer was American, they would partner with the Canadian producer, who then helps them put the rest of the Canadian package together. And there might be also a UK producer that might be a Canadian-UK co-production where there is an official treaty between those two countries. And an example would be you shoot the film in Vancouver, but you do post-production in London. And you can tap into soft money opportunities in both of those countries because you're doing work in both of those countries. Now, there's always the caveat of the parameters, what those countries are going to require you to have to be able to tap into that investment. Usually, it's a local filmmaker always a producer, certainly, and then what you have to do in that space. The idea behind the soft money investments is to bring investment back into their local economy. And second is to promote their own local artistic talent and mind.